It's one of those headlines that makes your heart sink. When you read heartbreaking personal loss, your mind immediately jumps to the worst: a tragic accident, a sudden passing. We brace ourselves for the unthinkable. But sometimes the most heartbreaking losses aren't the ones that happen in an instant. They are the ones that unravel slowly, painfully, and publicly. For 90 Day Fiance star Rob Warne, the shocking news isn't a single event, but the devastating and final collapse of the life he knew. He isn't just mourning one thing. He's navigating the emotional wreckage of losing his marriage, his future, and now, facing the terrifying health battle of his closest companion. If you've been following the saga of Rob and Sophie Sierra, you know their journey was never a fairy tale. It was raw, messy, and uncomfortably real. It was a chaotic whirlwind of cheating allegations, transatlantic moves, and the infamous bathroom-less apartment. We watched them try. We watched them fight. We watched them, against all odds, get married. And for those of us who root for love, even the messy kind, we held onto a sliver of hope. Maybe they were the couple that could fight through the toxicity and find solid ground. That hope, it seems, has officially flatlined. The loss of a marriage. The dream is over. The loss that Rob is truly mourning is the definitive, heartbreaking end of his marriage. We all watched their last-ditch effort on 90 Day, the last resort. It was meant to be a place for healing, but for Rob and Sophie it became the final stage for their breakup. The therapy sessions, the group exercises, none of it could patch the deep, fundamental cracks in their foundation. The moment Sophie chose to walk away, to end the marriage during the recommitment ceremony, was the public climax of this loss. But the mourning? That's what's happening right now, and it's complicated. When a relationship ends, especially one that was so all-consuming, it's like a death. You don't just lose the person, you lose the future you were building. You lose the identity you had as a couple. You lose the what-ifs and the somedays. For Rob, this loss is being processed in the most public way possible, on television. We saw him almost immediately pivot from last resort to 90 Day, hunt for love. On the surface, it looked like he was moving on, ready to mingle, back to his old self. But as anyone who has been through a gut-wrenching breakup knows, moving on is often just mourning in a different outfit. His time on Hunt for Love wasn't the triumphant return of a newly single man. It was, as one report put it, a showcase of old habits. We saw him getting into the exact same kind of defensive, heated arguments with a new woman, Elise, that we saw him have with Sophie. This isn't just Rob being Rob. This is the behavior of a man who is still raw, still wounded, and perhaps unconsciously still mourning. He's repeating his patterns because he hasn't processed the loss. He's stuck. He's trying to run from the ghost of his marriage, but that ghost is everywhere. The awkward ghost of a love lost. The most painful, relatable, and flat-out human part of this whole saga happened just a few months ago. Rob and Sophie, who are still legally married but deep in the divorce process, had an unexpected, public reunion at an event in Las Vegas. What happened next was a masterclass in unresolved grief. Sophie, who later admitted she had been drinking and got in her feelings, rushed to him. She was emotional, trying to hug him, trying to kiss his neck, reminding him, "We're still married." It was a desperate, heartbreaking plea from someone who was also mourning the loss. And Rob? He was distant, polite but cold. He pulled away. He was a man trying to enforce a boundary that his own heart probably hadn't fully accepted. He was trying to finalize the death of the relationship while his wife was, in that moment, trying to resuscitate it. That single, awkward, captured-on-camera moment says more about loss than 1,000 therapy sessions. It's the messy, undignified, deeply human reality of trying to let go of someone who was once your entire world. Rob is mourning the future he lost, and he's being haunted by the past he can't seem to escape. The loss that breaks the camel's back. As if the emotional turmoil of a failed marriage and a public divorce wasn't enough, Rob was recently hit with the kind of personal loss that brings any human being to their knees. His dog Rome has been diagnosed with cancer. Rob shared the news that his beloved pet has a lesion, and he's now facing a future without his most loyal companion. Let's pause on that for a second. This isn't reality TV drama. This isn't Rob the villain or Rob the cheater. This is a man whose life is falling apart. His marriage is gone. His wife has moved on. And now, the one living creature that has been by his side through all of it, the moves, the fights, the loneliness, is sick. This is the loss that reframes everything. It's the kind of heartbreaking news that makes all the other drama feel small. It's the fear of a loss that is profound, final, and deeply personal. This is Rob Warne, the human being, not the reality star. And he is in a season of profound mourning. He is mourning the definitive end of his marriage to Safi. He is mourning the future he thought he'd have. And he is mourning the potential, terrifying loss of his best friend, Rome. We tune in to 90 Day Fiance for the drama, the escape, and the judgment. But today the story of Rob Warne isn't about any of that. It's a relatable, emotional, and powerful reminder that loss comes in many forms. It's the loss of a dream. It's the loss of a partner. And it's the terrifying fear of losing a companion. Whatever you think of him, Rob Warne is going through it. He is publicly mourning a life that is gone, and privately facing a new loss that is just too heartbreaking to imagine, and in that he's never been more real.